We are so glad that you chose to spend your Sunday morning with us here at Glide. Here, there are no strangers, just brothers and sisters that we are meeting for the first time. So give yourselves a hand for being here this morning. Let me introduce you to a few people that make this celebration possible each and every week. On our light show ministry in the balcony, we have Jackie Wax. I know I got to call her. On sound, we have Cole in the balcony and Betty in the booth. We have the beautiful voices of the Glide Ensemble. The Change Band under the direction of John Turk. Seminary intern Marvin K. White. Associate Pastor Reverend Theon Johnson III. Senior Pastor Reverend Dr. Karen Olavito is on spiritual leave, and we pray for her safe return. With us also this morning is founding president Janice Mercatani. And the Reverend Cecil Williams.
keep it going for our associate pastor, the Reverend Angela Brown.
So please take the hand of the brother and sister next to you, and we will be led in prayer by Steve.
God is so good. All the time he's good. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity and privilege of worship. Lord, I thank you for up. I thank you for down. I thank you for good, and I thank you for bad. Without these things, there'll be no balance. Lord, as we move on in this service and also in our daily lives, be a hedge of protection around us. A special prayer goes out to El Murray Knowles, who was a former ensemble member who went on to co-pastor a church in Oakland. He's in St. Francis Hospital. He just got his leg amputated. Prayers go out to his family. Lord, let us not forget why we're here. Let us not forget what we do while we're here. Lord, go out on that line and bless those people. Lord, thank you for the resources that we have to feed another person. These and all blessings I ask in Jesus' name. Let the church say amen. See, I knew that this time, you know.
Okay, let's go. Come on. All right. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that holes all dressed in white. God's gonna trouble the water. The leader looks like an Israelite. God's gonna trouble the water. Come on and wade in the water. Come on and wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that man all dressed in red. God's gonna trouble the water. Looks like the bag that Jesus fed. God's gonna trouble the water. Come on and wade in the water. Come on and wade in the water. Come on and wade in the water. See that man all dressed in black. God's gonna trouble the water. Looks like they're pushing racism back. God's gonna trouble the water. Come on and wade in the water. Come on and wade in the water. Come on and wade. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, see that family is all diverse. God's gonna trouble the water. In the spirit they are
Please turn to your brother and sister and greet them with the signs of peace and love.
Welcome again, everyone. Please give yourselves a round of applause just for showing up to this party. This is a celebration, and when we sent out the invitations to the celebration, we had you in mind. We've been thinking about you all week, and we imagined you in this place, sitting in these seats, getting up out of your seats and dancing and celebrating with us. So we're so glad you are here with us today. So thank you for coming out. Are there any first-time visitors in the house? Come on, nice. Well, welcome. We are so glad that you have decided to come and celebrate with us today. How about we welcome the Burke family from Germany. Where are you at? In the balcony? In the pews? Well, welcome, you guys. How about the Kim family? Here we go, welcome. So this is what I need for you to do. I need for everyone to take out their cell phones. I'm not gonna collect them, don't worry, just take them out. Just take out your cell phones and turn them on, because we believe that the miraculous, that the amazing, that the extraordinary thing happens here at Glide, and we want you to send those images and tweets and Instagrams out into the world and let them know that you were with us here today at Glide. Is that all right? Good deal. And yeah, please. And also, I want to tell you about the ways that you can get involved with Glide. Today, for instance, the racial justice team is going to go see Straight Outta Compton. We're going to gather right at the back of the sanctuary at 12:30, and we're going to walk down as a group. And if you want to be in community and see this important film, particularly in this moment, you know, it would be great for you to join us, and we would be glad to have you as we go see the film. We're also going to have Joan come talk about A Better Me.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Glide has a monthly wellness program. Whoa! Okay, this month's wellness program is a softball game, hopefully the first of many. It is a friendly softball game for all levels. Your captains, Jay Phoenix, Jonah Matranga. It's next Sunday from 1 to 3 at Lang Field, which is about 9 blocks from here, 9 flat blocks. There's parking. You have to be 14 or older to play. And I'm going to turn it over to the captains. Please sign up in Freedom Hall so we know how many to expect. Thanks.
Good morning. So it is going to be a friendly game, even though we're going to win. Here's the thing. This is one of those times in your life where you get to kind of go against what you may or may not have been told your whole life. So for those of you that were like shied away from sports or, oh, I'm not good enough, trust me, you're good enough. It's going to be so much fun. So we need spectators. We need people to cheer. We need players. We will even take the prayers, Theon. So everybody is welcome. So I am the captain of the Jay's Twisted Sisters, but don't let the pink shirt fool you. It's going to be good.
And I am Jonah, the captain of the Gladiators. It's already over. Come and play. Please come and play. It's about community. It's about fun. I don't even like sports, but I like playing with people and playing in community. So come and have fun with us next Sunday. It's going to be a blast. Sign up downstairs afterwards. Peace.
Yes, softball. I got my goggles. I got my lacrosse net. I got, someone asked me if I had gloves. I have leather driving gloves. Sports. So please, come and play and be a part of this community. You can also be a part of Glide and support Glide by buying Glide stuff. So downstairs in Freedom Hall, you can buy mugs and CDs and books and t-shirts and aprons and books and tapes. You can also buy fans and fabulousness by going downstairs into Freedom Hall following the celebration, or you can go to www.glide.org and support that way. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. We love music, and we love those who make sure that the music is put before us. And that's what we have here today. A great musical aggregation. These are the Glide Ensemble. That's John Turk, who's the leader, and the Change Band. They all belong to us. They're good. You're going to find out really right now. Now, before we begin, let's just say this. You can dance, you can clap, you can sing, you can get loose here, okay? We just came from a party that we had here last night. Not here, but at a certain place. Glide had a party, and it was a party, I'm telling you. And we are still trying to come out of that party like we're here, y'all. We're here. Thank you for being here this morning. And now we present to you music as it really is real. Music as it is not only real, but has rhythm to it. So go get the soulful music.
Come on, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are. Got my cross and follow you. Lord, you're greater. Yes, you are. We worship you in spirit and in truth. Let the Lord
can only imagine what it would be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine when that day comes and I find myself standing in the sun. I can only imagine all that I will do is forever, forever worship you. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Or will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine.
Tragedies are commonplace, all kinds of diseases, people are slipping away. The economy's down, people can't get enough pay. As for me, all I can say is thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. Folks without a home, sleeping out in the street, and the drug habits, some say they just can't beat. Muggers and robbers, no place seems to be safe, but you've been my protection every step of the way. Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. It could have been me outdoors with no food, no clothes, all alone without a friend, just another number with a tragic end. But we didn't see fit to let none of these things be. Every day by your power, you keep on keeping me. Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. Yeah, it could have been me outdoors, no food, no clothes, all alone, out of bread, just another number with a tragic end. But we didn't see fit to let none of these things be. Every day by your power, you keep on keeping me. Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. Yeah, it could have been me outdoors with no food and no clothes, all alone, out of bread, just another number with a tragic end. But you didn't see fit to let none of these things be. Every day you keep on keeping me. Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. Thank you, Jesus. What will I do? Will I go blessing? What will I do? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me.
That was Dr. Vincent Mason. And second soloist was Craig Kolb. And first soloist was Dennis Hershey. Let's hear it one more time for this great Glide ensemble. John Turk, director. Well, I was really half awake this morning because of last night's party. How many of you went to this? It was a great party. And what was great about it is it has become a legacy situation, and it has become an annual event held by the young professionals. Are any of you here from that group this morning? Because I want to give you a shout out. It was a great party. It was sold out. And the best thing is that young, not so young, not so younger than young, everybody was there. And what's wonderful to me is it's in the next generation and the next generation taking into the future the values that they believe and they share with Glide. That love matters. That black lives matter, transgender lives matter, children's lives matter, women's lives matter, all lives matter. And that social justice means that social justice for everyone, not just for just us, okay? Justice for everyone. And unconditional love and acceptance of all people. So, wow, you, the beloved community, are the model for the world. And we appreciate you, we appreciate your support. Thank you, I love you. And if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be. So, thank you for all of your love. That truly matters. Now, you know, I think that when love matters and we realize that everybody deserves dignity and respect, that we also extend ourselves beyond our own centeredness, our own prejudices, assumptions, presumptions, judging people by what they look like as opposed to who they are. And the way we get through that, the way we grow through that, the way we've been just embedding that love and understanding and acceptance is by telling our stories. And here at Glide, it's one of my favorite parts of the celebration, the storytelling. And we have our own shrink in residence, Dr. Bob, who's going to give us a story this morning. Thank you, Dr. Bob.
Thank you so much, dear. All right. Back from St. Louis. Nobody loves me but my mama. And she could be jiving too. Now, that's a sentiment that some people have in their heart, and it's not a good one. So the two epidemics of the 21st century America are alive and well in St. Louis. Obesity and gun violence. And it's there, and it's here. Okay? August, we call this, baseball fans know this is, we call this the dog days. It's a long season. And we're coming up on September. Team's looking good. September is National Suicide Prevention Month. Kind of a yucky time of the year, I guess. San Francisco has some great landmarks. One is the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a beautiful place. It's a feat of engineering. It's also the #1 suicide site in the world. 1,600 people have killed themselves jumping off that bridge. So I'm here to talk a little bit about that because I don't like it very much. So suicide is a form of violence against the self. And the Centers for Disease Control keep statistics on all kinds of stuff. About 16,000 people were victims of homicide in this country in 2013. Over 41,000 people killed themselves. You know, suicide is usually an act of desperation by a person whose brain is not working right, and it's an impulsive act. There's an officer who spent 23 years stationed at the Golden Gate Bridge. His last name is Briggs, and his job was to talk people back. This act that you see here, it happens so often, they have a term for it. It's called going over the rail. Officer Briggs spoke to more than 200 people in his 23 years with the CHP, and all but 2 came back and embraced life. Doctors like to study all kinds of stuff that people do, and the folks that live, who jump off the bridge, we ask them what was going on in their mind, and usually it's something that, frankly, most of us have had to deal with. Their wife left them for somebody else, their parents kicked them out of their home because they're gay, they got fired from their job at 20 years, or whatever. Bad stuff. If you jump and you're wearing Levi's, you got a better chance of surviving. If you jump feet first, you got a better chance of surviving than if you do a belly flop, it turns out. And it also turns out that this is considered a very serious form of suicide because it usually works, just like guns usually work. But the vast majority of people who are followed over the years who do this, they have an epiphany. They realize that their head wasn't working right, and they never try anything like that again. When someone commits suicide, it's tragic. But I want you to know my perspective as a physician and a psychiatrist. I don't like it. And if you're going to kill yourself, I'm pissed off at you, okay? Because it's selfish. Let's say it. It's selfish. You're leaving the mess for the rest of us. I have to see the cops. I have to see the firefighters, the paramedics, the ambulance drivers who have to pick up the stuff. And then there's your friends. You're checking out on them, and they're going to be left with guilt because they think they should have been able to save you. But if you didn't talk to them, how would they know? And then there's your family. I mean, can you imagine what it's like cutting your father down? Or cleaning up the room where your brother blew his brains out and having to sleep there? Think about it. And what I would say is there's a solution. Get help. There's a 24-hour hotline in San Francisco that's manned every day, womaned every day. 415-781-0500. People can help you. Talking helps. We have a name for it, cognitive behavioral therapy. We're going to change how you see things. It's not, that glass is not half empty. And, you know, if you don't want to take medication because you're worried about getting addicted, but you're going to kill yourself, take the medication. Your brain is not working right. Connect with others. You got friends, you got family, you got neighbors. And, okay, can we all agree we want to do something about gun control in this country? Can we have background checks? And prayer makes a difference. Come to Glide. I mean, you can hear the voices of this choir, and if they don't make you want to come back from the edge, what can possibly? They can do it. And if you do it, what you're thinking of doing, then you can't come back and hear the words of Reverend Theon. And you can't hear what you're about to hear from two of the best male singers in this choir. So come back. Use Glide. We're here for you. We got the pastoral team. We've got a congregation. We've got a place for you to stay if you've got no place to stay. Your mother did love you, and she still does. So in the words of Mr. Armstrong, I see trees of green, red roses too. They're blooming for me, and they're blooming for you. You know the rest of it, don't you? Can you help me? And I say to myself, What a wonderful world. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Bob, for your witness and your story. You know, and what a great witness and story it is that we want to make sure that everyone, no matter of your race, no matter of your economic standing, that you are able to say from wherever you are in this world that it is a wonderful world. You know, and here at Glide, we do the work of making sure that people understand the systems that push people to the rail. You know, there are some ways in which poverty is imposed upon people, and we fight against that. You know, we hope to restore the humanity of folks. You know, we hope to give folks mental health care so they can understand the system that they are a part of that pushes them to the edge and to the rail. And Glide is doing the work in that space and in those gaps to make sure that people live and thrive and get the help and the services that they need and deserve. And this is where you can help. You know, the ushers are going to come forward and they're going to serve you, and we're going to ask you to give and give generously. And think about the people that you pass by on the way into this place. Think about the meals that are being served, and think about the messages that you're getting today, and try to put some value to that you're going out with a week's worth and maybe a month's worth or a year's worth of hope. You know, and we're here to send you out, you know, feeling and believing in the world and in the world that you will return to. So we're asking for you to give and give generously. You can give cash, check, or credit card, or you can use your phone and go to www.glide.org/igive and give that way. So we just ask you to give and give generously. Thank you so much. Yes.
Well, how's everybody? Now we're going to, after we make this known to you. We're going to have, thank you very much. Thank you. You will be able to hear me. There's no doubt about it. We're going to have another song by the Glide Ensemble, of course. And then after that, we'll have the messenger of the day. Now, Glide is strong about its messengers, and we feel very good about the people that we have and the people that are coming in, the flow of messengers that we have. There's just no doubt about it. They're the best around. One, of course, who will come to us is a young man. He's young, gifted, and black. And today he is hot. I'm telling you, he is hot. Oh, you're going to hear something today. But this is what we hope will always be the direction of Glide, making sure that people are included and making sure that people deal with the issues that are critical. So after this song by the Glide Ensemble, our man, lead Theon Johnson III, will be here. Okay.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. One day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory.
Against, yes, glory is destined. Every day women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skins become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, his spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through the Tenderloin with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots, we on the ground. The camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
One day, when the glory comes, we will be sure, we will be sure. One day, when the glory comes, we will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, glory. Oh, glory, yeah. Oh, glory. Now the war is not over, and victory isn't won, but we'll fight on to the finish, and when it's all done, we'll cry glory, oh glory, oh glory.
child. Even Jesus got his crown in front of a crowd. They march with the torch. We gon' run with it now. Never look back. We done gone hundreds of miles from dark roads. He rose to become a hero. Facing the League of Justice, his power was the people. Enemy is lethal. A king became regal. Saw the face of Jim Crow under a bald eagle. The biggest weapon is to stay peaceful. We sing. Our music is the guts that we bleed through. Somewhere in the dream we had an epiphany. Now we right the wrongs in history. No one can win the war individually. It takes the wisdom of the elders and young people's energy. Welcome to the story we call victory. The coming of the Lord, my eyes have seen the glory.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Glory, we'll cry glory, we'll cry glory, yeah, yeah. Oh, glory. Now the war is not over, and victory isn't won. Oh, cry glory, come on, yeah, glory, yeah, oh, glory, glory, we'll shout glory, hallelujah, when it's over, yeah, 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 we'll cry glory, oh, yeah, yeah, we'll cry.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Aaron Jones.
Vernon Bush.
Why did they have to make this announcement before you preach?
That's Aaron and Vernon. Aaron is here. Vernon is here. Now, Vernon, of course, has a project that is meaningful to kids, and especially those in great need. This project we support very strongly, very strongly. After this celebration, I would hope that you would go downstairs in Freedom Hall and meet Vernon. And there he'll talk about, for a few minutes, about his project. And you will support it, I'm sure. When I'm talking about through word, through deeds, and through action. Okay? And it's called the power of voices. And I am somebody is what it's called. So thank you. Go down, do that, please. I very seldom ask for money. I just... Wait a minute, wait. You mean to tell me I did it and didn't even know it? Well, anyway, go downstairs and meet Vernon. That's the important thing. And talk to him. Thank you.
Love you, Cricket. One more time for the Glide Ensemble and the Change Band. You know, As they leave, I want to say how glad I am that each of you are here today. From wherever you come, and wherever you may be going in the next few minutes after our time together, I want you to know how glad we are that you are here. And if you've ever found yourself wondering if there's a place where anyone cares, I want you to know that you have stepped and been sitting in the right place. If you feel alone, I want you to know that we're here. That we are here. And it's in that spirit that today's message hopefully will be offered as words that are received with great love and care and shared with hope. So if there were a theme for today's sermon, it would be straight out of love. That's the theme, straight out of love. That's what we're working with. On Tuesday, August 11th, I joined members of our community for an advanced screening of Straight Outta Compton, which is a film that follows a journey of 5 young men who use the power of music to paint a powerful and painfully relevant portrait of life in one of the most underserved communities in America. These young black men stood up to many forces which sought to use alienation and intimidation, incrimination as forces to silence their voices. And I want to give a shout out to a member of our Glide family, Ben and Felicia Horowitz, and to the Andreessen Horowitz team for hosting that advanced screening of the film, which was followed up by a Q&A session with the director, a few of the actors, and a bad so-and-so named Ice Cube, as he would refer to himself. Yeah, you'll see them up there in the next moment. Their stories, this story, the kind of inner city intelligentsia, indict the sterile images of liberty and justice for all citizens in America, I believe, by exposing the ghettoized conditions which continue to buttress poverty, violence, death, and destruction. The truths uncovered through their explicit verbiage sparked a mass movement through music which revolutionized the art of storytelling. Their lyrics, I believe, created a melody of resistance which sparked the conscience of many with their backs against the walls of life. Watching kids in this film be terrorized by an OG waving a gun and giving a self-proclaimed motivational message by taunting school kids. Seeing young black men slammed to the ground by police officers looking for trouble, unfortunately, isn't just history or a 2-hour reality. This is all too familiar. And as I watched the film, I could not help but think about the Black Lives Matter movement and the opportunities to document the terror that has been occurring at the hands of those who are charged to protect us. And while watching this same film and being mindful of these heightened injustices, then I saw a black woman being devalued by a black man. Uh-oh. I saw kids being disrespectful to elderly. Uh-oh. Hey, we don't hear too much about that. Then I saw so many in a scene in a movie, in a kind of concert venue, who were shouting out all manners of horrible reflections, F the police, this, that, and the other in one scene. People who were probably in the movie scene, completely unaware of the horrors faced by many of the poor and oppressed people for whom the woes of inner city life were an everyday reality. You know, yeah, F the police, y'all are so, this is screwed up. Yeah, I spent $80 on a concert ticket. Right? Okay. If that hasn't been enough source to cause us to hear crickets the rest of this afternoon, I imagine this unpopular thing might do it. I still believe, however, nonetheless, that it needs to be heard, and it's this: that even as citizens are enraged over escalation of violence against black and brown people, I hope that this film is also assaulting the sensibilities of people by inviting us to consider the prevalence of violent acts perpetrated against women, particularly women of color and children. Amen, somebody. In a reflection 8 years ago, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan offered a timely reflection on communal preservation. He said, and I quote, almost 8 years ago, "Yes, a white policeman shot a black brother. But how little is that to our shooting one another?" That's hard to hear. And the other, which is just as important, if you're not willing to confront the murder and mayhem that's going on in our own community, then you're not serious. So the question that leaves me with is one that I'll lift to you. Do black lives only matter when they're taken by certain people? If you haven't seen the film, I invite you to join the Glide Racial Justice team right after celebration. We're going to walk over to a movie theater and check it out and follow that up with a conversation. Would love for you to see that in community with us. But back to this film. So by the end of my watching it, I found myself thinking about the types of images being etched into people's minds and hearts, again, of these moviegoers, about the city of Compton and its people. Based on the film, one would probably think that Compton was an all-out war zone. And because I'm familiar, very much so, with the hype and blatant misrepresentation of so many underserved and underrepresented people, I wanted to go and check it out myself. So last Friday, I drove to LA with my sister. And we started Saturday morning with a visit to Compton, California. First stop, Wilson Park, which is at the corner of Alameda Street East and East Compton Boulevard. I needed to make my first stop here, whether it was because this is a place of recreation and rest and community, or because it sits pretty close to the dividing line of East Compton from West Compton streets, and that imagery and how that plays up literally by it being divided by railroad tracks. Not Mississippi, railroad tracks in LA, you know. I needed to start there. Followed that up by visiting the governmental complex, which is home to the library and the city hall, the courthouse, and sheriff's station. I walked around with the complex quite a bit and finally took a seat right outside the courthouse and just sat there thinking about the whole Black Lives Matter movement, thinking about Brother Marvin and his most recent visit to Ferguson, thinking about we who are here at Glide and our work to try to turn the tides on injustice, and about who I need to be in this moment as someone who not only shares a word of indictment against injustice, but also tries to do the work of offering hope where there might be hope deficits. And so I spent about an hour and a half sitting there, and I'm very grateful for my friends for just chilling with me straight in Compton. So for as much as some things have changed, so many things remain the same. And underemployment is real, y'all. Educational and housing disparities, they're still around. I could feel the reverberations of the Black Lives Matter movement with each step I made across that complex. And then we rolled straight out of Compton and straight into Beverly Hills. If you might notice, there was an even stronger mean mug. That's because the prices in the store I just left made me a little upset. I'm just playing, yeah. I didn't even go in. I'll just The following words describe my experience: night and day. I mean, you know, I found myself thinking about this phraseology. It seemed as if the phraseology, which had become so familiar just a few moments ago, reverberating through my bones as I walked the streets of Compton, Black Lives Matter, it seemed as if it was inappropriate in this place. It seemed as if it needed to be silenced, if present at all. Perhaps better yet, even replaced for a more appropriate phrase: Black cards matter. The struggles of the most marginal members of our communities were drowned out by the revving engines of luxury cars and gourmet organic free-range skinny double tall soy spice lattes that are gluten-free and free-range. And you'll need to use that black card to purchase. And people walking leisurely from store to store. Now, let me say this, as I said at the 9, not against nice stuff. That's not an indictment against people who enjoy nice things. I believe that we ought to be able to enjoy the wonderful gifts and nice experiences and have wonderful things. I'm not saying that. We need to definitely do that if that's possible. But what I'm saying is that my experience was very much night and day, and in times where great division and historical dislocation alienates us from one another and potentially engenders what some writers have referred to as compassion fatigue, what words can help us think about the gift of unity and importance when one might want to pit the two against each other? I wonder if there might be some words that could help us out. I wonder if the book of Ephesians, if it were updated, what it might have to say to us about trying to be those who seek unity and justice. This book, written as a letter to the assembly of Jesus' homies in Ephesus and throughout portions of Asia Minor, the author of Ephesians offers an extended metaphor for understanding what a life in love with God as shaped by the ministries of Jesus would look like. And as the letter comes to a close, the writer offers a snapshot of what walking the talk really in a time of wartime is all about. So listen to these words, my friends, straight out of Ephesians. As you might see, this is where we're going today if you haven't figured it out. Chapter 6. Finally, be strong in God and the strength of God's power. Put on the whole armor of God so that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the enemy. For our struggle is not against enemies of blood and flesh, but against rulers, against authorities, against cosmic powers of this present darkness, against spiritual forces of evil in high places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you might be able to withstand on that evil day, and having done everything, stand firm. So stand therefore, and fasten the belt of truth around your waist, and put on the breastplate of righteousness. As for your shoes, put on your feet whatever will make you proclaim a gospel, a good news of peace. And with all of these, take the shield of faith with you, that you might be able to quench out all flaming arrows of the one who is evil. Finally, take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word, the good news of God. And pray in the Spirit at all times with prayer and supplication. To that end, keep alert and always persevere for your homies. And I love this part. I think it's especially fitting in this hour that we say to each other, pray also for me, so that when I speak, I may be able to give a message with me that is bold and talks about the mystery of the good news. For I am an ambassador in chains. It's important to give a little context for this reflection from Ephesians. It's important to realize that these words are written to minorities. Their beliefs called to question the established power of their day, in essence by saying, hey, I know you running things in the empire, but you ain't God. God is God. And I'm not bowing to you, homie. It ain't going to happen. That's essentially what was happening in this story. If I had to update it, Ephesians TJ3 style. So the question that comes to us based in this reflection is, who are our present day minorities? For those who would seek to use this text as a warrant justifying warfare, I think those people participate in a most unfortunate tradition of biblical idolatry and theological misinterpretation. They literally take the scriptures straight out of context. That's my favorite one. Instead of justifying anger and aggression, the writer, Sarah, offers the following reflections to provide context for whom this was written. Writes, and I quote, "First, this metaphor, again, was written to minorities. Second, physical opponents were not the source of those against one whom was contending. And third, the very nature of the armor reference makes clear that the message is a survival strategy for persons of faith in a hostile world, not a strategy for aggression." Rooted in a faith that works. Picking up the armor reference in Ephesians empowers us to resist evil and oppression and to work for things that bring about peace and reconciliations. It invites us to be rabble-rousers. It encourages us to upset the status quo. It invites us to be prophets. It compels us to agitate, even to be, again, those prophetic witnesses that come straight out of the church of Satan. Does that phrase ring a bell? If you've followed the Washington Post, a few days ago, you may have seen my homie, my colleague and friend straight out of Houston, Texas at St. John's Church, the Reverend Hannah Bonner, who's a United Methodist pastor in Houston, has been keeping watch, a vigil outside of the Waller County Jail ever since Sandy Bland was found dead in her jail cell. And Sandra Bland was pulled over on July 10th for a minor traffic violation. Wound up dead. Isn't it somehow these days? It's amazing. It's amazing. Master's degree, working on a PhD, see certain lights come on and I get nervous. It's amazing. In fact, if you stop me, am I going to die today? Is today my day? Am I the newest hashtag? Right? Becomes the question that we're asking. Anyway, my friend, holding vigil outside the sheriff's office. One day, Sheriff Glenn Smith gets a little aggravated, walks out, checks around, comes back to her and says, "Do you need a business card?" She says, "Oh, no, I know who you are, sir." And as he prepares before heading back into the office, says, "Okay, well, go back to the church of Satan that you run." To which she responds, "Well, thank you." You know what? I've got to say this right now just for the record. Regardless of the evidence, either in support or rejection of allegations surrounding the death of Sandra Bland, the reality that American citizens are questioning the cause of her death while under custody is a strong indicator of deep distrust for our criminal justice system. That's all I got to say. And just in case we're wondering in our minds, oh, that's over there. We're so progressive here. You know, right? Aren't we? We're so progressive over here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we are. We're so progressive. Take a look at this.
You want that? What is this? What is this? What is this? All that shit, man. Welcome to this sticks when I say no snow.
A handicapped man is half naked.
Seriously? You threw me on the ground, man. What is it?
I am, but you know, I'm making you uncomfortable. You have a man who's half naked, and you don't even have enough respect for this man to pull his pants up.
Please get up, please.
Birmingham, Alabama, 1964. Jackson, Mississippi, 1965. Ferguson, Missouri, 2014. Ooh, San Francisco, California. Right out in front of the Twitter headquarters this past week. Witnesses, now there's a much longer story, and I'm going to clarify some other things in just a moment, so just hang on with me for about another 7 minutes. Witnesses were called about somebody waving sticks. Those sticks were crutches. Upon being unwilling to hand over those sticks, tensions escalated, and as if he still posed a threat after being on the ground, he was handcuffed and pinned down by officers to the piss-stained concrete sidewalks at Market Street. To add insult to injury, his pants were semi-pulled down, exposing his backside to the public. And I say this because this man who's been plastered all over the internet is no stranger. As a matter of fact, this person just happens to be a Glide client. This incident happened right in the heart of arguably one of the most progressive cities in America, a stone throws away from the doorstep of the Twitter headquarters. As images of brutality and criminalization of black and brown bodies continue, I can't help but wonder, when will they really matter? Since I've said that, I want to clear something up for the record. There's a myth surrounding this whole Black Lives Matter talk and hashtag and movement that some might think seems to suggest that only Black Lives Matter. Let me clear something up for about another minute. We live in an all lives matter kind of culture. And that's the belief that all lives matter equally. However, that ain't true. It ain't true. In, quote, an explain it like I'm five thread, the user Geek Estate offered a reflection on why changing hashtag Black Lives Matter to hashtag All Lives Matter is an act of erasure. This person writes, and I quote, imagine that you're sitting down to dinner with your family, and while everyone else gets a serving of the meal, you don't get any. So you say, I should get my fair share. And as a direct response to this, your parent corrects you saying, everyone should get their fair share. Now, that's a wonderful sentiment. Indeed, everyone should, and that was kind of the point in the first place, that you should be a part of everyone and you should get your fair share also. However, Dad's comment just dismissed you and didn't solve the problem that you still haven't got any. The problem is that the statement, I should get my fair share, had an implicit to at the end. I should get my fair share too, just like everyone else. But your parents' response treated the statement as though you meant only I should get my fair share, which clearly was not your intention. And as a result, this statement that everyone should get their fair share, while true, only served to ignore the problem that you were trying to point out. That's the situation with the Black Lives Matter movement. Just like asking a parent for their fair share, the phrase Black Lives Matter also has an implicit to at the end. It's saying that black lives should also matter. But responding to this by saying all lives matter is willingly going back to ignoring the problem. It's a way of dismissing the statement by falsely suggesting that it means only black lives matter when that obviously is not the case. And so saying all lives matter as a direct response to Black Lives Matter is essentially saying that we should go back to ignoring the problem. Now, since I said that, I gotta say this. All cops aren't bad. I've said it before. I'll continue to say that. We have amazing law enforcement personnel who are part of our Glide congregation right here. Amazing people. Amazing people. All cops aren't bad. That's true. All circles aren't the same size. That's also true. All guys aren't bad. That's also true. And I say that latter because I think it's important to use myself as an example in this case. And I must hear about then, although I know all guys aren't bad, I must hear about the misogynistic culture in which all of us live and of which, by virtue of being a dude, I am a beneficiary. Sure, I don't commit violent crimes against women or children, and sure, I don't think I'm one of those guys, but the truth of the matter, however, is that I'm a man, period. And I need to hear the stories and sufferings of women and children who have experienced inequality and injustice if I am sincere about my commitments to restorative justice. I've got to hear it. I've got to hear it. I've got to hear it. That being said, it's straight out of anger that I ask a question that Brother Marvin posed just yesterday on social media. Why does it feel like every day is the anniversary of some black person killed by the police? It's time to wake up. Straight out of tolerance for apathy when we're invited to ponder the difficult questions. We have to wake up. And so what can we do? Where do we go from here? Is there hope? I have to leave you with the word of hope because I'm a prisoner of hope. Yes, there is hope. And if you've ever wondered what can I do, I'm glad that you have done so. And I want to tell you about a few things that you can do here, right here with us at Glide. You can help us lobby. Why in the technological capital of the world, arguably, does our local police force not have access to the technology, the advances in technology like body cameras? If San Francisco is unable to set the standard, who else will lead? We've led the nation on many issues. Why not lead here too? You can also join the racial justice team that's here part of our congregation. Amazing group of Glide members and friends who are committed to creating space to have conversations about ways in which the construct of race plays into navigating the political, social, and economic realities of the justice we seek to serve in our communities. And finally, as I said earlier, you can watch the film with us this afternoon, right after we finish. In closing, if you haven't heard anything I've said, I hope you hear this. I am straight out of patience for injustice. I am. Of all stripes. But you know what? I'm not out of hope. I am not out of hope. Because I believe in the power of people to do what God put us here to do. And that's to love. To love ourselves, to love our neighbors. So I want to encourage you with a few words straight out of love. There ought to be something special about coming straight out of Glide. It ought to be a political statement, a spiritual statement, a value statement. You walk out these doors, somebody say, "Hey, where you coming from?" Straight out of Glide. Ooh, really? Oh, you do believe in justice for everybody, without exception. Where you coming from? Straight out of Glide. Ooh, really? Wait a minute, you really do believe in the power of prayer. Where you coming from? Straight out of Glide. Ooh, really? Oh, you do believe that everybody can come together in our city and do the work of announcing justice in our community. Where you coming from? Straight out of Glide. Oh, you must believe in the power of music to lift our spirits when our heads might be buried in the ground. Where you coming from? I'm coming straight out of Glide. You must believe in the power that has been given to you by God to turn the world upside down for good. Where you coming from? Straight out of Glide. You must believe in the gift of love to turn this world upside down for good. Where you coming from? Where you coming from? Where you coming from? Make it count. Go in peace. Amen.
All right, we're going to sing "We Shall Overcome." Let's hold hands. Here we go now. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome today. Deep in my heart, we shall overcome. We shall overcome today. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. And now we'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. I said now we'll walk hand in hand. Walk hand in hand today. Deep in my heart, I do. We shall overcome.
Before you roll, before you make your way straight out of Glide, I want to invite you to join our community here. There's a place for you if you want to get more connected and get involved. You can also come downstairs to Freedom Hall to learn about more opportunities for engaging the community. Join us right in this area if you're interested in seeing the Straight Outta Compton film with Glide folks. We're going to meet right here. But leave this place with a different pep in your step. Like, you seen the film, like, I need y'all to have some serious, where you coming from? Have a little dip in your walk. A little pep, a little swag. A little pep in your step. So that folks, when they turn to you and say, where you coming from walking like that, what you gonna tell them? Where you coming from? Come on, where you coming from? Go in peace, my friends. Thank you. Yeah, I see you. I know you got the walk, man. There it is. There it is. There it is. We're gonna go to the west. We're gonna walk over and see it at the Westfield, but we're gonna meet right here for a bit. Yeah. There's a 1 o'clock show, and we're gonna catch the 1 o'clock. Hey there.
Hey, that
Good to
was
see you.
wonderful preaching.
Thank you.
Great
Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Hey, brother.
You have arrived, my brother. Yes, you have. Like we did, like we held it. I'll be with you. Right. Start today with this.
Right on. I love it. Love it. Love it. I'm glad you're here. Hey. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Hey.
How would you like us to get over there?
We're gonna walk because we're just going to the Westfield. So we're
going to the Westfield?
Yeah. So it's just right over at Powell Bart. We're gonna go to the